Hey there, it's me. Yes, 4 weeks into retirement. 4 weeks. Four, four, four. How's it going? People are asking me, like, how's it going? Oh, yo, oh my goodness. There are not enough words to outline how awesome it is to not have to worry about going into an organization and having the responsibility of making sure that people are well. If you are new to my channel, first of all, thank you for being here. I am Fenella. I retired at 52 years old 4 weeks ago, and I love it. When people say, I'm bored in retirement, I don't get it because I'm not bored. I was just telling my baby sister this morning, we got a little group text, me, her, and my big sister. And I was just telling her, man, this week has flown by. Just this week. I mean, all of these weeks have been busy. As you can see, I have a little bit of a tan. We actually were on vacation. Let's see, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now. 2 weeks ago, yeah, 2 weeks ago, we were getting on a cruise. And so we did that for about, let's see, we left on Thursday, came back on Saturday. So it has just been awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. The being retired. But again, the whole thing of people saying, I'm bored, I don't have enough to do. I don't have that at all. In fact, I have so much to do. I'll look around and then it's like, what time is it? Okay. Oh, wow. It's almost this time. I mean, just like that, time is moving. Now, I will tell you, so there have been some questions about like, how are you able to do this at 52 years old? Well, here's what I did. I planned it. Okay. So I work for a company that periodically will offer the opportunity for people to voluntarily exit, and they'll hand you a big stack of cash to do that. And so um, during the last time that my company did that, I said, okay, I was ready then, but I was new. I was going to be ready for the next one. So anyway, so the next one came in December of 2023. And so that's how I ended up, retiring January 31st, because I said yes to that. And so now here I am. But leading up to, let me go, a little story time. So I got divorced. I think it was 2008. My divorce was final, and my kids were small. I mean, tween or no, they were small. I feel like they were 12 and 9 maybe at the time. And so anyway, after the divorce, I thought, oh my gosh, like I am truly head of household. Like I have to make sure that I am making good financial decisions because my income is it. I will tell you, when I was married, my ex-husband, very good person, very, very good person, just maybe not so fiscally responsible all the time. And so, but I still had the comfort of knowing I had two incomes. So again, still in story time. So once I divorced, I thought, oh my gosh, this is just on me. So I started watching Susie Orman. This was when, I don't know if y'all remember, Susie Orman used to come on every Saturday night, like 9 o'clock. And she had this segment, Can I Afford It? And that segment, I started watching that segment. So therefore, then I started watching her show. And I just followed her advice like religiously. And it helped me. It helped me, anytime I would get like large sums of money, like bonuses, merit, I wouldn't spend it. I would just put it away. And so that is sort of really how my savings and awareness about truly being fiscally responsible began. And so, without really understanding, because I really had to look back, I did this maybe a year ago and say, okay, how am I financially able to do this? And really it started with me watching Susie Orman and really, really following her principles and making sure that I was building wealth. and it helped me tremendously. So that's where it started, way back in 2008. I retired in 2024. So this hasn't been an overnight thing because, of course, a lot of things have happened in between. I have two kids that have graduated from college within that time. And my son, my oldest child, putting him through college, he had scholarships, but he went to a very expensive university. And so even with scholarships, there still was money that I had to pay for him. And I was able to do that by myself, me and God, child, and a plan. So that's how I did it. But with Susie Orman, one of the things that stood out for me is like how much money I was wasting. And one of the ways that I was wasting money, not a lot, but probably too much, was eating out. So I've never been a person who will eat out like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like my ex-husband, God love him, but he would eat out like all 3 meals in a day, right? I mean, without even thinking about it. And for me, it wasn't necessarily the money, but it was like the quality of the food, and everything was going up. And again, this was way back in 2008, 2009. I sort of had this mindset. So before then, we were eating out like, most American families, every Friday, maybe we go to Old Charlie's when it was good, back in the day, or, something like that. Pizza on Friday, pretty common. At one point, y'all, pizza was like $10. You can get a $10 piece, feed a family of 4. That's probably a thing in the past. I don't know, because I haven't bought a pizza in a long time. But anyway, so really being mindful of my spending. And so again, once I started paying attention and really cutting back, because you can spend quite a bit of money on food. I mean, if eating out, if you're not careful, because restaurants, and really it's about the social experience, being out, and Smith party of 4, Crumbie party of 4, Crumbie party of 2, it's really all about an unwinding. And so there's a whole like culture around eating out, and that's great. That's great. I mean, I think that is good to do periodically. But again, once I started becoming aware of how much money, it was costing me, we really cut back. And so I was cooking more. We still ate out. We wasn't penny pinching by any means, but I was just more aware. I was more aware, and so that really planted the seed. And so one of the things that I really encourage young people to do is to, in your 20s, 30s, if you're going to be working for somebody, find an organization that pays you well. Very important. Very important. It doesn't matter what you do, but just make sure you're being paid well. And so you say, well, what does well mean? Well, I would say well means, this is just my definition. Well, for me, meant I could clear all my monthly bills and still have plenty of money left over. That was my little small definition of being well paid meant. Now, again, at the time I was a divorced mother of 2, and so it wasn't just me that I was taking care of. Of course, I'm taking care of my 2 kids, so that well also covered not only me but my 2 kids, right? So 3 people. So my a job, my salary covered the finances of 3 people. Okay. And so that was my definition of well. And so with that, again, I just maximized that. I looked at my 401k and, added more to that, because, you don't miss that money once you just kind of automatically have it pulled out. So there are things that you can do in your 20s and 30s to ready you for earlier retirement. Now, the thing too that I am, becoming more aware of is really, it's not, I mean, age wise, it is earlier than most. A lot of people, retire at 59 and a half, which is the age that you can get your 401k money, or 60. Susie Orman herself says she believes you should work until like 60, 70 years old. so that you can get your full Social Security. Well, we hear what's happening with Social Security, baby. I'm not saying change your plans. I'm just talking about my own experience. And so I'm not really counting on Social Security. I mean, I hope it's there, but we'll see. But anyway, so for me, in the question of, how are you able to retire so young? Again, it was planning, and that big trigger point or part of my life that really started it again was my divorce, and back in 2008. It was really sad, but you know, life happens. Again, my ex-husband is a good person. I don't have one of those, I hate him, he hates me. We don't have that kind of situation, which is great for our kids. But anyway, and so I've remarried in 2019. And so it's funny, I was just telling my husband this morning, we were talking about, he was getting ready to leave to go to work because my husband still works, not because he has to, but because he wants to. He's older than me. And I was just telling him, he was saying, yeah, I was saying how nice it is to, have just like unplanned mornings and just kind of casually get myself together. And he's like, yeah, in retirement, it's always good to have that extra, it's good that, in essence, he was saying, it's good that I have him. And so I said, before he left, I said, you probably won't believe this, but when I decided to do this, I didn't figure in your capital and how, I was really thinking about my own financial economy and, can I do it on my own? And of course, the answer was yes. And so I did it. And so he's like, yeah, right. But that's the absolute truth. That is the absolute truth. One of the things my mother showed me and my grandmother told me is you rely on you, because anything could happen. Anything could happen. And you know what? They are exactly right. They are exactly right. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to do it. But this last 4 weeks has just been awesome. So, okay. So you all know, if you've watched my channel before, I'm a reseller. I resell on Whatnot. And I also have a reselling store on eBay. So that has been like, it's not a hobby. It's actually a small business, but it's a small business that I love. I was telling my daughter, I was talking to her on Sunday, and she was like, so what have you been up to? And I was like, well, I really haven't been doing anything. And so I started talking about all the sourcing, that I've been doing. I've been doing this and doing that, doing this, doing that, doing this. She's like, Mom, that sounds like work. And I had to step back and think about it. And it is work, but it's the kind of work that I want to do. It's the kind of work that doesn't feel like work. It feels like I'm shopping, which I'm an expert shopper. Expert shopper. You hear me? And so, I'm busy. And so it is, again, how are you able to do this at 52? That money that I make from Whatnot and from eBay, none of that funds like my living, right? That is money purely for my business. And I just continue to pour back into my business. And so, people say, oh, okay, well, that's where she's getting her money from. No, I'm not. Not yet, not yet. In time, because I've really only been selling seriously for 1 year. Seriously for 1 year. And I have been profitable. But again, those profits I just put right back into my business. So it has been exciting. I will say, having my own little small business has, made some additional capital available. But for me, that additional capital means I can buy now nicer stuff for my customers, right? Higher quality goods, maybe even some designer things. And so again, it's just really been about pouring back into my business. And so again, answering the question of, retiring at 52, have a plan and start early in your 20s and 30s. And I will tell you the most important thing for me is that I now have my own time back, right? I don't have to be here at this time, for these amount of hours, in this uniform, at this location, supporting this, making sure I'm doing, like, I don't have, like, I don't have that anymore. It's so funny. I was talking with my husband, and the last Whatnot show I did was on the day that I retired, which was January 30th, the 31st. And because the next week we were going on vacation. And so when we came back from vacation, my husband was like, well, when's your Whatnot show? And I'm like, well, I was supposed to have one Sunday, but you know what? I think I'm going to take the month off. And he's like, oh, okay. Take the month off. I'm like, yeah, it's Black History Month and I want to take Black History Month off. So that's what I'm going to do. And so that's what I did. So I don't have, like, I've got a Whatnot show on Sunday, which is what, March the 2nd. So I intentionally, but those are the things that you can do when you're retired and when you have planned for things and you don't need that money. Like some people, even big sellers on Whatnot, they have to sell every single day or, 4 or 5 days a week because their lifestyle or their business requires it. I don't have that. I'm a one woman show and I in essence do it when I want to do it, which is a blessing. It is a blessing. So again, answering the question about how are you able to do this at 52, it was planning. That's just really the cold hard facts. Because I'm only 52, I don't have access to my 401k money. I don't. I'm 50. You have to be 59 and a half for that. So that money is there, but I can't access it, And so I had to make sure that I had enough revenue in retirement to be able to do all the things that I want to do. And so again, it has just been a blessing. So that is the biggest thing that I would say to younger people. If you do want to retire early, if you are working in an organization, make sure again it is an organization that pays you well. Finella's definition of pays you well is that you cover all of your living expenses and you still have plenty of money left over. And again, I'm just looking on the month. You can look on to every 2 weeks. You can look on the week, however you want to do it, 6 months, whatever. So that is how I defined it. And so it has really, really been like, when I look back, it's like, man, you really did plan for this. Because I used to say it and it was just like something, but I really did. I really planned for it. And so it's great. It's great. It's good. And I do encourage people to consider, particularly these high stress environments, consider, in your 50s, consider making an exit plan. But my 40-year-old people and 30-year-old people that are in those high stress jobs, start making a plan so that, maybe you can come out in your 40s, or, even your late 30s or, 50s, because those high stress jobs. So I was an HR manager, which, means a lot. You're doing a lot of things as an HR manager. And there were stressful times, a lot of stressful times. And that wasn't the reason why I decided that I wanted to retire. The reason why I decided that I wanted to retire is because I didn't want to work my entire life. And I wanted to be able to live and to travel and have lower stress and just be more joyful, and still be a younger person, right? Because remember, Susie Orman said that I wasn't supposed to retire until I was like late 60s, 70 years old because of Social Security. That was the prevailing, message that she had. And I guess to some degree, I'm not truly fully retired because I do have my own small business. But my small business, if I decide to stop it, for a month, 2, 3, 6 months, I can do that. And so that's why it doesn't, and it's things that I love to do. So that's why it doesn't really feel like work, but there is income coming from that. Again, I just turn around and pour it right back into my business. So it's been good. But those high stress jobs, think about an exit plan for you because, whether we know it or not, those high stress jobs could be shortening your life, and you're doing that, making whatever it is you're making. I don't care if you're, making, I don't know, $500,000 a year. Yes, that's a lot of money and that's great for you. Even $250,000 a year, that's great and that's good for you. But what is it doing to your well-being and your longevity? And are you going to be able to sustain that? Because we just get older. We get older and things break down, and stress causes high blood pressure, heart attacks, aneurysms, all kinds of things. And so again, this is where you have to decide, what is going to be best for me. Like my husband works in a high stress environment, but he loves it. And he has learned to manage that stress. Like he doesn't come home and it's like, oh, it's like a video game to him. It's probably not a good way to say. That's to me, that is my description of what it is. It's like it's a challenge for him. That's what he would say. But to me, it's like, it feels like a video game, because it's like, okay, wins, losses, draws, that kind of thing over and over and over again. And so he's in a position right now where he is pouring into a lot of people to prepare, for that next generation leadership. And so he loves it. But with that too, comes all the challenges with dealing with people in general, because that's what you have to do when you work in an environment, a fast-paced environment like he does in the automotive industry. But he loves it. And he has, I'd probably give him another 5 years of work. And remember, he's older than me. I don't think he would mind me saying that, but he loves it. And so I want him to do what he loves to do. I mean, I am, So anyway, so that's it, y'all. That's it. That's what I wanted to share. I hadn't been on here in a while. I hadn't shown y'all my tan. It's lightened up. Look at my little brown nose. I know some people that are not brown skin, sometimes they'll say we can't see tans, but hopefully you can see mine. If you can't, that's okay. It's not that uncommon. But it's lightened up a whole lot, because when I tell y'all my forehead was like black, I mean, like, and it just, peeled off, whatever. But I still got a little bit of a tan, a little bit of a glow. I'm ready to go back. We had a great time. And so, but it was nice. This was the first time, like, in my life that I was able to go on vacation and come back and not have to worry about going to work. It's like, oh, thank you. Like, I'm telling, God is good. God is good, because I would not have been able to do any of this without the goodness, the grace, the mercy of God. Gosh, it almost makes me weep. So I'm excited for you. And I'm going to keep doing this. I've got to get better at it. But when I tell y'all, these days just fly by for me, because I am so busy and living my life and managing my business, but not anything. It's all joy. It is all joy for me. Nothing stressful in here. So anyway, so I've got to prioritize making sure that I do my YouTube talks about the retirement lady, retired at 52 and loving it 4 weeks in. Yay. All right. I'll see y'all on the next video. Have a great weekend. Bye.